Good morning or afternoon for my 6 hour. I am not available today. It's December 15th. My daughter is not feeling well, so I'm going to stay home with her. But I wanted to walk you through this final. First and foremost, if you guys are still working on your brochure, please get that in as soon as possible. If you look up at the board, yesterday I wrote like there's 8 more days of class, like meaning yes we have more days of school than that, but we typically meet only 4 times a week. So it looks like you have today obviously, tomorrow, and then 2 days next week we have break. Coming back from break we have 4 days that week, and then it's your final, so it's about five. So I'm looking at, if we count today, that's 9 days. If we don't count today, it's eight. So is that right? Yeah. All right. So anyway, I want to walk you through final. If you go to Canvas, you will see this, your finale, your final. And you click on the assignment here. I'm going to pull it up. So on your website, I would like you to create a new page. You do that pretty simply. You just go to the right side of the screen and click page. There'll be a plus button at the bottom, and you can add that page there and title it final, fiend, finale. I really don't care what language you title it in. Just let me know that it is your final assignment. And you have a few choices. Number one choice is portraiture. So I'm going to ask you to create a series of either self or peer portraits, focusing on lighting, background, and color. You could use my lights, you know how to change them, um, and you could use filters on Photoshop. You are not required to use Photoshop. Remember, you recall I was talking when we started this, a lot of people didn't like Photoshop, and I said for your final, you have the choice to use either Lightroom or Photoshop. So you can make that judgment call whether you want to be there in Lightroom or in Photoshop. Second option is famous photographer. There are a list of names here: Dorothea Lange, Walker Evans, Sidney Sharman, Man Ray, Brett Wilson, William Wedgman. These are a few of the photographers that are out there that I think would be influential on you. Another great name I could add here would be Gregory Crewdson. He's another really good one that I would put on there, a little more contemporary. But if you like any of their work, if you find one, make a series of photos similar in style or genre. And I wrote down here, copy or imitate imagery as needed. And what that means, here, let me just really quick for you. If I go to Greg Crewdson here, images, thank you. And say, this is one of his most famous pieces here. And I'll pull it up nice and big. All right. So say I was going to quote unquote copy one of his photos. I would have, try to set this all up. A street, we're back, have trees on the side, fence. Obviously, we don't live in this town. It looks like there's an industrial building back here. It almost could be a school. Again, we could set things up where we put people in here and we mimic or copy that image by throwing ourselves in there, right? Um, Again, it's up to you if you want to do that. I'm going to go back here. So you can shoot in their style or you can kind of copy what they did. Um, don't look up Crewdson, hit copy and paste and turn it as yours. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about mimicking the actual work. All right, lighting is our last choice here. Um, I'm going to say I think it's kind of fitting to start the year focused on lighting and then close the year focused on lighting. What this gives you the opportunity to do is kind of branch out, do more than one specific subject. Like portraiture is one thing. Um, the famous photographer, you're going to shoot one thing in their style. This lighting gives you a little bit more variety. So you're going to create a series of photos focusing on the various lighting techniques that you've learned, their effect on photography. Choose the subject matter to photograph, i.e., you could do a still life, you can do like the abstract shots, you can go in and take portraits. You can actually take pictures of people too. So um, that just gives you that little more variety there. And here you'll see for a few I will assign additional brochure work and research. And what happened was I talked to um, Mr. Kiesel, and he thought it would be a great idea to have these for February. Um, I don't. I'm not going to assign it to you. If you had a good one, a nice design, and it was written well, I may ask you to do it. But you for sure can say, no, I'd rather do one of the other three. I know that some people just really didn't like it, but were good at it, but didn't like it, and that is okay. So what I want you to do is whichever one you get assigned or chose, take and edit 24 or 25 new photos for your theme. You can't turn in the same photos you've already turned in. I want you to take new shots for this. Submit your best 10. So what I mean by take an edit is this. You take the photograph and you're loading them in Lightroom and you go through and crop it. That's editing. If you change the exposure, that's editing. If you go through and just barely tweak it, sorry, you have edited that. Edit all 25. You're going to post your top 10 to your site. You can put more on if you want to, but there are going to be those ones that are just slightly better than the other, and I do want you to have that ability to choose. I put here no late work accepted, and I want you to understand a simple thing. If you're sick on the final day or something comes up and you're not able to be in class, I do make an exception, for illness or, loss. But if you're there every day working, supposed to be working, there shouldn't be real issues of you getting this in. All right, and the last thing I want you to do is write a reflection, right? And the reflection is you're going to write about what editing techniques you used, how the composition layout was, what theme you chose, how did you choose it, why did you choose it, how you came up with your ideas. If you chose the photographer one, you can write some inspiration or appropriation. You can also give me a little background on that photographer if you would like to. 12-point font, double spaced, one page in length. Please try to keep that to like a Times New Roman typeface. But if you think about it, at that level, it's probably about 3 paragraphs. So I don't want a whole lot to read, but I'd like to know that you really put yourself into this last piece. And that should be all. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to give this a little bit of weight here because I'm asking you to do some higher end stuff, right? So I want you really to focus on, I know we have a short time, focus on turning your best works in. All right? And I hope you have a good day today.